My name is Sharon. I had spent 6 years building the biggest idea of my life. It was a tech project that could change the world, and I was just days away from pitching it. I trusted my husband, John, with everything. He said he believed in me. We stayed up late, designing the system and working on the files. I thought we were a team. We shared everything, including the final prototype. But one morning, I woke up and the file was gone. John was gone too. No goodbye. No note. Just silence. I called him, messaged him, nothing. Then I saw the news. John was in Dubai. And he just married a tech investor's daughter. My heart stopped. He didn't just take the file, he presented my work at a global tech summit. He pitched it as his own idea, calling it the future of AI security. It got picked up. A major company called Technovance gave him a $100 billion contract. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My name wasn't even mentioned. I felt like I couldn't breathe. How could he do this to me? He stole my life. And now he was smiling on TV beside his new wife, Ashley, whose dad was the one investing. The worst part? John knew how much this project meant to me. I cried for days. But one thing was clear. I had to fight back. I went to the press, but no one believed me. They called me the bitter ex-wife. They said I was jealous of his success. Even my old coworkers asked me to let it go. I felt small. Angry. Powerless. But deep inside, I still had something no one else had. The full blueprint. The original sketches. The timestamps. The proof that I created the entire project long before John ran off with it. That gave me hope. If I could just find someone who believed me, I could take my project back. So I made a new plan. Not to cry. But to build a better version. One he couldn't touch. And I'd call it Phoenix. I moved into a tiny apartment downtown. No money. No help. Just me and my laptop. But I started again. Piece by piece. I rebuilt my software. This time stronger, smarter, and faster. I renamed files. I protected everything with new security. I didn't talk to anyone. Not even my best friend, Kate. I didn't trust anyone anymore. I worked day and night, barely sleeping. Some nights I cried. Some nights I felt like giving up. But I remembered what John said before. People like you don't lead companies. You're too emotional. That voice kept ringing in my head. And every time it did, I typed faster. Stronger. Because I knew one thing. I would rise. I was down to my last $100. Bills were piling up. I was eating crackers for dinner. But then something happened. I posted a short video demo of Phoenix on a small startup site. Nothing fancy, just 90 seconds. I almost forgot I posted it. Then 2 days later, my phone blew up. Emails. Calls. A man named Dr. Jerry Park reached out. She was the head of an independent tech fund. She said, "Your program isn't just good, it's revolutionary." Where did this come from? I told her, it's a long story. But I built it alone. She didn't ask more. She just said, "Let's talk. You might be the future of cyber defense." I felt the fire return. Dr. Jerry, the investor, invited me to lunch. I wore my only clean blazer and printed my designs. He looked through them and smiled. "Sharon," he said, "this isn't good, it's brilliant." Tears filled my eyes. No one had believed me before. Then he asked, "Why did your ex-husband get the credit?" I told him everything. He didn't flinch. Instead, he said, "Let's make them regret it." He offered funding, office space, and a small team. I accepted on the spot. That same night, I called Joe, a developer I trusted years ago. He said, "You don't even have to ask. I'm in." Just like that, I wasn't alone anymore. I was finally ready to fight back. Joe showed up the next morning with coffee and code. We moved fast. Joe rebuilt the system's back end. I redesigned the front end with stronger features. Then I reached out to Miller, a designer John had fired. Miller laughed when he heard my plan. "Count me in," he said. We worked around the clock. Pizza boxes stacked up. Music played. Hope returned. We called the project Phoenix, because it was rising from the ashes. Every line of code felt like justice. Every new feature was ours, not stolen. We stayed quiet. We knew John and Ashley were watching the news. But we kept building. I felt stronger every day. And I wasn't done yet. Ashley stood beside John at every tech event. She smiled for the cameras but worried behind closed doors. Phoenix had started to make headlines. Tech blogs were calling it the mystery project with real power. Ashley asked John, "Are you sure this isn't Sharon's work again?" He brushed it off. "She's just trying to scare us." But Ashley wasn't so sure. She hired a private firm to look into my new project. Too late. I had hidden every connection. Different name. New branding. No leaks. She couldn't touch it. Still, her fear grew. Because deep down, she knew. I was coming. And I wasn't coming quietly. I hadn't spoken to Kate in months. She used to be my best friend, until John turned her against me. But now, she reached out. "I saw your demo," she texted. "I'm so sorry. Can we talk?" I agreed. We met at a quiet diner. She looked nervous. "I didn't know John would do this to you," she said. "He told me lies." I nodded. "I believe you now. And I want to help." Kate worked in public relations. She knew how to write headlines, manage press, and spin a story. Exactly what I needed. "Let's show the world the real truth," she said. With Joe, Miller, and now Kate, Team Phoenix was ready to launch. We scheduled the launch of Phoenix for next Friday. But then John made his move. He announced a huge update to his version of the project, live on national TV. He wanted to crush us before we went public. But I was ready. I sat with Joe and Miller. "We launch first," I said. Kate worked her magic. She got tech reporters interested. She reached out to Jerry to line up interviews. I wrote a letter explaining how I created Phoenix from scratch. Then, I uploaded it all. The code. The designs. The dates. The proof. And I signed it. "This is mine. I am Sharon." By morning, the internet exploded. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Tech blogs posted side-by-side comparisons. You can't deny it, Sharon's version came first. News anchors picked it up. Hashtag Phoenix Truth started trending. John and Ashley were silent. No statements. No replies. Then, a reporter asked live on air, "John, did you steal your ex-wife's project?" He froze. Ashley pulled him away. People started digging deeper. They found old records. Old timestamps. Emails with my name on the files. The court of public opinion had decided. I wasn't just right. I was real. My story was finally being heard. But this was only the beginning. Now I wanted more than truth. I wanted everything back. Ashley called me. I let it ring. Then she emailed me. "Can we meet? Please. Just the two of us." I agreed. We met at a private cafe. She wore sunglasses and looked tired. I didn't know John stole your work, she said. But now everyone knows. He's finished. I said nothing. She kept going. I'll give you anything you want. Just, don't go to court. I smiled. Ashley, I said. You're not the one I want. She nodded slowly. I'll step back. I'm done. And just like that, she walked away. Even she knew. John had crossed the wrong woman. I wasn't here to settle. I was here to end it. Kate contacted a lawyer. His name was Miller, same name as our designer, but different guy. He looked over the files and smiled. You have a solid case, he said. We filed a lawsuit for theft, fraud, and defamation. The news spread like wildfire. Sharon Morgan versus Technovance and John Morgan. That headline was everywhere. Court dates were set. Jerry helped fund the case. Kate got media interviews lined up. Joe and Miller stayed focused on Phoenix's launch. I wasn't scared anymore. I had the truth. I had my team. And I had the world watching. John thought he buried me. But now, he was sinking. And I was still rising. The courtroom was full. Cameras waited outside. I walked in wearing a black suit. Calm. Focused. John wouldn't even look at me. The judge listened. We showed proof, emails, dates, designs. My voice shook, but I didn't stop. Your Honor, I made this from nothing. He took it, claimed it, and erased me. John's lawyer tried to spin lies. Said we were working together. But the dates didn't lie. Neither did the witnesses. Joe testified. So did Miller. Then Kate. Even Ashley sent in a written statement. One by one, the truth crushed him. By the end of the week, even John's own lawyer looked ashamed. It was my turn to win. The courtroom was silent. The judge looked at John, then at me. He spoke clearly. This court finds in favor of Sharon Morgan. Cheers broke out. I didn't cry. I smiled. John slumped in his chair. The judge continued. All rights to the Phoenix project belong to Sharon Morgan. John Morgan must pay $50 million in damages. Technovance must remove all versions of the stolen program. It was over. I walked out into the flashing lights of the press. This time, the world knew my name. Not as a victim. But as the woman who lost everything. And took it all back. I was finally free. After the trial, Phoenix went global. Jerry helped sign deals with defense and medical companies. Joe and Miller led the tech team. Kate became our PR director. We opened a new office, this time in my name. People lined up to work with us. Tech journals called it the comeback of the century. I felt proud, but I didn't forget. I remembered the pain. The betrayal. The nights alone. Phoenix wasn't just a company. It was a symbol. I had been burned. But I rose from the ashes. Stronger. Smarter. Unstoppable. The world saw John fall. But they saw Sharon rise. And that made it all worth it. John's name was blacklisted. No one wanted to hire a thief. Ashley left him 2 weeks after the trial. Technovance pulled out. His accounts were frozen. The mansion was sold to cover damages. He tried to start over. But the internet never forgets. Every search of his name led to my victory. One day, he showed up at my office. Security stopped him. I just want to talk, he said. I looked him dead in the eye. There's nothing left to say. He walked away with his head down. And that was the last time I ever saw him. He took everything from me. Now, he had nothing. A month later, I got a letter. It was from Ashley. She wrote. You didn't just beat John. You taught me a lesson. Power without truth falls fast. Thank you for showing me who I was married to. I folded the letter and smiled. She wasn't my friend. But she wasn't my enemy anymore. She was just someone who watched the fire and backed away. And honestly, I respected that. I didn't need revenge anymore. I already had peace. And no one could steal that from me again. Not John. Not anyone. I had my voice. My company. And my future. And I would protect it, no matter what. We held a small party at the office. Just the team. Pizza. Laughter. Stories about the journey. Joe toasted first. To Sharon, who never gave up. Kate smiled. To Phoenix, reborn from betrayal. Miller nodded. To truth, and to starting over. I looked around the room. This was my family now. Not the one I lost. But the one I chose. I stood up and raised my glass. Thank you, I said. You helped me believe again. In myself. In justice. And in second chances. We clinked glasses and laughed. The pain was still part of me. But so was the strength. And that's what I'd carry forward. A month later, I was invited to speak at a tech summit. The same one John had once stolen my work at. I stood on the same stage. Only this time, I wore the mic. I told my story. From the betrayal to the rebuild. I saw people cry. Others clap. Some just watched in awe. I ended with, don't let anyone take your voice. Don't let pain stop your progress. And if they steal from you, build something better. The whole room stood and clapped. I felt tears in my eyes. Not from sadness. But from finally being seen. I wasn't just a survivor. I was a creator. And the world finally knew it. Young women began emailing me. They asked for advice. How to start over. How to protect their work. How to speak up. I replied to every message. I started a program called Rise Again. It helped women in tech get funding and legal support. I told each girl, you're not weak. You're rising. Helping them healed something in me. I wasn't just building a company anymore. I was building a movement. Phoenix had become a light for others. And I was proud of that. It wasn't about beating John anymore. It was about lifting others. Because now, I knew what it meant to be unstoppable. One night, I got an email. It was from John. No subject line. Just one sentence. I'm sorry. You were always better than me. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. He had finally said the truth. Not to the world. But to me. And that was enough. I closed the email and went back to work. Phoenix was growing. Our next project was launching soon. And my story was no longer about pain. It was about power. And peace. John's chapter was closed. For good. 1 year later, Phoenix hit $1 billion in sales. The same media outlets who once ignored me now called me a tech legend. I smiled during the interviews. But I never forgot how it started. Alone. Betrayed. Fighting to be heard. And now? I was leading one of the most trusted tech brands in the country. I visited my old apartment. Stood in front of the door. It was small, dark, and broken. But it's where I rebuilt myself. I whispered, thank you. Then walked away. Stronger than ever. Because full circle doesn't mean going back. It means rising higher. And I wasn't done yet. At our next board meeting, Jerry gave a surprise speech. We voted, he said, and Sharon is now our permanent CEO. Everyone clapped. I held back tears. Then Kate handed me a gold plaque. It read, Phoenix, born from betrayal. Built by Sharon. I hung it on my wall. Right above my desk. Joe joked, "Can I get one too?" We laughed. I looked out the window. The city was glowing. And so was my heart. I had created something no one could steal. Not a file. Not a man. Not a name. Phoenix was mine. And it would outlive all of us. I used to cry when people said my name. Now they chant it at conferences. I used to be John's wife. Now I am CEO Sharon. The pain, the loss, the fight. It made me strong. Unbreakable. He stole my project. He stole my trust. But I took it all back. And I left him with nothing. Not just money. But power. Legacy. Respect. I built a name that no one could erase. And if you're reading this now, remember my story. They tried to burn me. But I rose from the fire. My name is Sharon. And I am the woman who won.